The Mandela Effect. The Mandela Effect is a pseudoscientific belief that some differences between one's memory and the real world are caused by accidental travel between alternate universes. Is this really happening right now? And why is it called the Mandela Effect? Well, that's because there are a lot of people that remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s when he in fact died a few years ago. One of the biggest Mandela effects that drew everybody apeshit, drew me apeshit because I read these books. The Berenstain Bears is actually called the Berenstain Bears. And everybody that I've asked who's read those books just like I did, remember it as Berenstain or Berenstain. By the way, here's the Ford logo. Looks like the Ford logo, right? Of course it does. Where did that loop come from in the F? Apparently it was put there in 1912. Okay? But that's not what we're going to be talking about in this video. No, that's not, because that has nothing to do with movies. Film Junkie doing nothing, something else, not movies? No, that's not what's happening here. We're going to talk about the Mandela Effect in movies. That's right, iconic movie quotes that we have been quoting for years, that everybody's been quoting. You've seen it on TV shows, cartoons, everything that we have been misquoting all this time. So I ask you, I have a red pill and a blue pill. Which one do you want to take? It'd be kind of weird because there are no pills in my hands. Of course you're going to take that red pill. You're going to go down this rabbit hole because I fell down this rabbit hole a couple weeks ago and I thought, I'm just going to share it because some of these movie quotes, I'm like, I remember them the other way. What the hell is going on? So let's talk about these quotes. Let's go to the land down under, to Crocodile, Dundee. I've seen this movie a million times, okay? And the classic line where a mugger comes up to Mick and the chick, I forgot what her name is, sorry, pulls out a knife, asks for the wallet, and she's like, oh my god, Mick, give him your wallet. He has a knife. And he goes, that's not a knife. And I remember it as, this is a knife. As if he was saying, this big huge knife in my hand right here is a knife. But of course, that's not what he says. This is what he says.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
What? Now, I'm sure some of you have remembered it one way, but I do remember it as that's not a knife, this is a knife. And what's funny is, anytime that I've done the Australian accent, I've quoted that line. I actually was friends with somebody that I worked on another site with who was from Australia, and I said that to him a few times. He probably was annoyed to shit with me. And now on to the next one, another classic movie with Kevin Costner called Field of Dreams. The classic iconic line that's in this movie is, if you build it, they will come, right? Talking about the ghosts that will come and play on the baseball field. But no, that's not what the line says. This is what the line says.
If you build it, he will come.
He? Now obviously this does make sense with the movie because he's probably talking about Kevin Costner's father, because that's when he does come and they finally have a catch, which is a touching scene and chokes me up a little bit. But everybody has quoted that to, if you build it, they will come. So what? I don't know what's going on. Moving along to Jaws. The famous line that Roy Scheider says in Jaws after he's throwing out the guts or whatever into the ocean. He sees the shark, and of course he gets back and he backs up. And then he says the line, and it's supposed to be, we're going to need a bigger boat. But it's not. The line goes,
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
ah! You're gonna need a bigger boat. Even in Clerks, Kevin Smith's first movie that came out a while ago when he does the salsa shark thing, says the line as I remember it and some of you remember it.
Salsa shark. We're gonna need a bigger boat.
What? This one's a little weird because it's like, why would he say you're gonna need a bigger boat when obviously, I mean, I get it, he's talking to the dude that really wants to catch the shark, so he's like, yeah, you're gonna need a bigger boat. But they're on the boat right now trying to get the shark, so it's obviously gonna be, Now this next one, I remember it the actual way, and a lot of people don't. Even people that I've asked are like, what? No, wait, that's wrong. And I say, no, I didn't pass through this little parallel universe because I remember it this way. And of course, this is one of the biggest movies, one of the biggest reveals in movie history. When Vader tells Luke in Empire Strikes Back that he is his father, a lot of people remember it as, Luke, I am your father. No. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even say his name.
He told me you killed him. No, I am your father.
That's right. Do you guys remember it like that or not? Because you know what's funny? James Earl Jones, who actually said those lines, he doesn't remember it like that either.
When I first saw the dialogue that said, Luke, I am your father, I said to myself, He's lying.
Not even the guy who recited it remembers the actual line. Somebody get George Lucas on the phone. He's terrible at writing dialogue. Somewhere he changed some shit. And since we're talking about Star Wars, when the fuck did C-3PO get a silver leg? Yeah, that's right, guys. Another Mandela effect in the Star Wars universe. Go watch the original trilogy. C-3PO has a silver leg throughout. Yeah, he's not completely gold. His right leg from the knee down is silver. Another thing that I've shown everybody who's watched these movies a million times, like I have, do not remember the silver leg! Now this last one really had me tripping because, I don't know, for some reason, out of all of them, I probably have watched this movie, not the most, because obviously I've watched Star Wars the most, but I remember that line being like how it is. I'm talking about Forrest Gump, the famous, iconic line in Forrest Gump that is, life is like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get. But oh no, my friends, that is not the line. The line simply goes,
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Mama, no. Life was like a box of chocolates? Was? Why would it be past tense? And then I thought about it. Why would it be past tense? Because she died at this moment in the movie, because this is obviously before when he's telling the story and everything. And so obviously he's talking about was because, you know, he's not that smart and maybe that's the reason. When she actually says the line in the movie, she does say life's like a box of chocolates. So I guess we could let that one slide, but that one just really tripped me out because, yeah, I don't remember it like that. So there you have it, my film friends. That is the Mandela effect in the movies. I tell you what, there's some crazy shit. The only one I remember correctly is the Empire Strikes Back one. The No, I Am Your Father. I remember it like that, and even like my brother and a couple other people do remember like that, but I still run into people that do not remember like that, and I'm just wondering, is it just because we got so used to people going like, Luke, I am your father, and like joking around about it, so it just got embedded in our heads? Or did we pass through a parallel universe? I hope not. A lot of weird shit out there, guys, and there's even more in other movies too, and I might do more videos, who knows? It's pretty crazy. But let me know down below in the balls area, which of these 5 lines do you remember the other way, not the way that it actually is? And feel free to give me some suggestions too on other movie lines that we have been saying wrong all this time, and yeah, it just... I appreciate you guys watching the video. Make sure you hit that like, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my other channel too. Follow me on the social medias right above my head, guys. All right, well, hopefully nothing happens where this video doesn't end up not existing. I'm scared now.